Hey everybody, this is Krishna, and I'm here to share another technique that you can use to improve your ideation skills. Everyday objects can be a very useful resource when you are considering designing new characters. So in this particular case, I'm using my measuring tape, and it has a very interesting industrial look to it, and I thought that would make for a great character. So you can see that I'm starting out with a 2-point perspective box, and I'm just sketching on top of that box, trying to match the perspective of that box for the other features, and keeping things nice and loose. This is my go-to when I'm feeling stuck. If I feel like I'm in a rut, I'm not sure what to draw, I just look around for interesting and unusual looking objects. I always bring my camera when I go shopping or when I'm out and about. I've got my phone. It's a great way to kick out the jams and not have to worry about getting stuck. And this little guy, is something that I probably never would have come up with on my own if I did not have the reference. So what I just did there was just use the transform tool just to widen out the helmet. And now I'm formalizing things by going back through and inking. You can see that I've dropped the opacity on my sketch layer so that I can still see it, and it just serves as a guide. And basically at this point when I ink, I'm kind of going off on my own. I'm not necessarily following every single line super precisely. I'm adding some other contextual details and elements. Here I'm using the hedge stylus ellipse tool to help me quickly freehand circles. This video is being sped up twice. So it took me about 11 minutes or so to create this from start to finish. So head stylus once again for creating straight lines. Now I'm thinking about material, so that central part looks like a visor. And I'm trying to also think about the structure that holds this helmet together. Maybe there are some air pipes that kind of resemble the sternocleidomastoid. You can also rotate your image, your reference image. You don't always have to draw it from the angle that it normally sits at. You can always rotate it in Photoshop and create something completely different. This could be a spaceship, it could be a character's helmet. There's an endless amount of variation that you can create from one reference photo. And it's also great for turnarounds. If you have an everyday object and you're trying to capture a turnaround, you can use that everyday object, photograph it from different angles, and use that to help you out. Here I'm using the True Grit Texture Supply textures. It's my preferred method of coloring. I just like the aesthetic. Kind of reminds me of old school comic books, which I'm a huge fan of. Thinking about complementary colors here, so red and green are two complementary colors. And I'm also considering where the light is coming from and where the light does not hit. So not everything gets illuminated the same. So I'm adding some shading and shaded values. I definitely make use of layers. And as I've mentioned in my previous videos, the selection tools are super important to learn if you're trying to work more efficiently with your digital tools. Here I'm adding some highlights, some shine. I'm also adding some age and some texture, you know, drawing some bolts. Now I'm going to group everything and move it off to the side, and I'm going to create a variant, a color variant here where I just adjust the hue, saturation, and lightness just to come up with a different version for comparison's sake. It's a quick way to get a different color comp. And then lastly, I'll center everything, put a unifying background, and just do some final cleanups. So I hope you found this video to be useful. Let me know in the comments below. What would you like to see me do next? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.